Well, thank you very much, Trevor. Very interesting that you talked about the possible performance of OG at Worlds, because actually we asked over on Twitter who the viewers thought was more prepared for Worlds, and this is a great tweet to kick off our conversation, I think, from @Farangenta. Origen for sure, tons of experience in the lineup and not having issues at the moment. Only EpicSkillshot champion pool worries me. I think this is a great kickoff point, seeing how we saw coming out of picks and bans rather as well. Question marks for both mid laners coming into this, and then they get a Victor and an Azir, both open. Explain what happened and how it got to that point.
Well, I mean, we knew Unicorns play Victor. We know that Peke plays Azir. I would say the Victor being given over to Unicorns is a little surprising for me. It's been a heavy priority for teams against the Unicorns. And Paravival showed us why, 9-1-1 on that champion. So I think that's something that Power probably won't get again. If he hadn't have had such a strong champion for himself in the mid lane, I don't think the rest of the team would have done quite so well. On the other side of the rift, the Azir lackluster again out of Peke. I agree with the champion pool sentiment.
I disagree a little bit, because not that much came out of the direct lane matchup, but a lot also about jungler support synergy that we were talking about. Horo and Amazing kind of going head-to-head in the beginning, and UOL keeping an even footing.
Yes, that's true. Like, this is really a strong point here, because I felt like Hylissang and Horo played way better in terms of 2v2 against Amazing and Mithi. I basically never see once those two players from Origen being together during this mid-game. That's crucial mid-game, you know. And we should have expected Origen to play better in this game. But what I really dislike is how can Unicorn let through two Barons to Origen with having the team composition for team fights, for stacked team fight, which means around Baron, around Dragon, and they just allow it. Since they had 4 pink wards that every time they control, but they never get the Baron, and this is really frustrating for us. I think this is a point that they have to work on with the coach just after the game.
They might be talking about it right now. We saw them there on the screen. On the one side, though, we were talking so much about how much of an underdog they are in this matchup. What are the good things you've seen from them? Because this is another Unicorns than we've seen in the last best of fives, at least they've played for now.
This was a big step up for the Unicorns. I mean, Chachi was very comfortable in this game from the top lane. Yes, there was the focus from Hylissang going towards the top lane earlier on. But again, as we said, Hylissang can do that. He has done that, and he showed up with it again. Game 1. Okay, it wasn't a win, but he has to keep the mentality of this is what is going to make it work for us. We have to keep doing this if we want to win. It's strange, though, Unicorns making plays like that, despite the good warding from Origen. I think there was a lot of room given over to the Unicorns, despite Origen having good wards for the lanes. That might not happen again, but Unicorns seem to find these angles where they can just get Hylissang into a lane, set up and engage. We saw it later into the game as well.
It was a relatively even 2-point, as you said. Then the Barons were snuck. Then Vardax got caught out a couple of times. And you were talking a lot about, as the game progressed, the itemization in this game. Of course, that point where the Tristana is hitting those crits all over is pretty hard to deal with, but there were some other aspects that were interesting.
I wanted to go back onto this point. So basically what happened in this game is that Origen had 3 threats of magic damage, which were Rumble, Elise, and Azir. But in the end, they had Tristana too, which is physical damage. So the point then into Unicorn's mind should have been, okay, we can decide to shut down the Tristana so that then we can build only magic damage, magic resist, so that we are fine. But in the end, what happened is that Tristana got fed. They still decided to go through Solari, from Spirit, Visage, and Maokai, and so Gragas before. And in the end, Tristana was hitting like if Maokai was Fiddlestick, you know? Like if it was easy to deal damage. And even Niels went through Last Whisper, which was, of course, really good against their comp. But in the end, they didn't have any single item of armor, apart one item from Maokai. But this was, for me, a mistake from Unicorn in terms of way they're playing. And just to go back, last thing about Amazing, really good gank, first gank, could put pressure on the bot lane, allows Tristana to get BF over the pickaxe for Severe, and then Tristana and Trash, which Niels and Mithi, managed to snowball really well, which made the game like as fluent as it is, and Origen win.
And that's a big problem for the Unicorns, again, that has plagued them. They love to run these 2-threat comps. And if you're going to run a 2-threat comp and one of your threats gets behind, how do you ever get back into the game? Especially, you know, on a champion like Sivir against some Tristana that's going to scale so well. So Unicorns can't let Vardags fall that far behind item-wise to begin the game in Game 2.
Yeah, their option sadly might not be as wide as it might be on the side of Origen, especially in this game. Well, Origen is up 1-0 in this battle for the final seat at Worlds. We're going to take a break as the UOL look to even out the score, but don't touch that browser. We'll be right back.
You guys know it's 1 best of 5 and then Worlds. Then it's Worlds.
Yeah.
So you guys should better try hard.
Oh.
But don't worry guys, I got the big backpack with like Azi and Victor, you know?
Yeah. Mid laners are starting to roam. Two men get hit by the flame.
Nice.
Here comes Pekka. Empress Divine throws Horo into Neil's waiting hand.
The fight is breaking out.
Let's find out. Equalizer's already been used, and it looks like you are well. Wow! They've taken out Miffy.
Keep running. Left there. Power people is top. Victor's away. Victor's not there. We chase. Victor's not there. We chase Niels.
OG Niels.
They will finish game 1 of this best of 5.